to the video for today. We are going to connect the tree with the bottom part here. So I'm measuring from this top part to the mountain top part, and I'm cutting this middle stick here into length so that it can stay like this on top of each other. Then I measured out some black carton so that it fits over these mountain pieces, and I'm using my tacky glue in this little bottle that I have here. I really like it, and I'm just gonna glue here on this side until this top piece, over the top piece, and down this side over here, and then all the way here at the bottom. And then I am going to place this black carton and fold it up over like this, and I'm going to hold it there until the glue is gluing it on there. I decided to use the hot glue to glue in these pieces of cartons instead of the tacky glue, because this is actually going a little faster. I'm doing this on both of the mountain pieces here, so both on the outside of the mountain and here on the inside of the mountain. I'm not putting anything on top of these mountains because we have the wood plate right there. Let that all dry before you continue. When the glue is all hardened and dry, I am taking my X-Acto knife here and I'm carefully cutting off the excess of the carton all the way down here on the sides. Really be careful with this. Here I had something stuck, so I couldn't cut it, so I was actually ripping it a tiny bit. But I'm doing this everywhere where I have carton going over the sides. This next part was a bit tricky. I am going to glue on the two last bulbs here, and they're going to stay here on the front side of this little box. The front is the one where you don't have the button on the bottom piece. So the first one, I'm just taking a tiny bit of hot glue and I'm going to glue that in place right here, making sure it will stay where I'm gluing it. Now the tricky part is to glue the other bulb in the right position, because we have these two places on this little house where the wires can come out underneath, and you really want this bulb to be in the right position so that you can place the house on top of the wires and they will stick out the right way underneath this little house. As you can see, that was a bit tricky for me, so I'm trying it again, and I'm actually deciding to place the wires the other way around this middle top part there is here on this bottom plate here. So I'm just gluing that in place again, and this is where I decide to glue it the other way around this circle thing there is here in the middle of this plate. I am going to glue them around so I can get them up the mountain piece, both of these wires. And here we are going to go into the tricky part of this build, because we're going to connect all the wires together in a second. I'm trying to show you how I do this, so I hope you will be able to see it, but let's go. The two wires here that is coming from the bottom part, I am gluing them up around this part here on this little bridge here, just using a tiny bit of hot glue to make sure it is sticking where I want it. Be careful, it's hot. And then again, I'm just doing it up here. Then I have two wires from each of these light bulbs that we glued on earlier, and I am connecting these wires or putting them together 2 and 2. So I have one wire from one bulb and one wire from the other bulb, and I'm making that into kind of a little bundle and gluing that up along the black carton here. again just with a tiny dot of hot glue, so I know that it will stay in place. Then I take the next 2 wires, one from each of the bulbs, and I'm gluing them on the side here as well, so that I know that this is one bundle and the other one is another bundle of wires. This is very important that you have the 2 bundles with a wire from each of the bulbs. You do not want the 2 wires from one bulb in the same bundle. Now I am taking a piece of this copper wire and removing this thin sheet there is over on top of this. It was a tiny bit tricky to get that paper off. Now I am taking the top piece here and I am gluing this copper wire on the bottom of the top piece. I know I'm a bit out of focus here, but I'm really sticking it on there. And I am making sure that it is sitting like I want it to. Now I am going to take all these wires and I'm going to shorten them off. Do not shorten them too much, but you don't want them to be too long either. And I am removing the plastic here from the metal wire inside so that I can bundle them together. Then I am taking the 2 wires I have from the 2 different bulbs, so 1 wire from one bulb and 1 wire from the other, and I'm connecting them together. And I'm doing that with the other 2 wires from the bulb, again 1 from each bulb, and connecting them together. I know this is hard to see because it was also kind of difficult to do as it is so small, and showing that on camera is really difficult, but there you see the 2 parts with the 2 wires connected. Now I take the wire from the bottom part. One of them I am connecting to one of the wires that comes from the top part. The other wire from the bottom I'm connecting to the other wire from the top part. And it doesn't matter if you're connecting one or the other to them, just that you have one from the top and one from the bottom in each of these bundles that we're making. So now we have 4 bundles of wires. I moved my things a bit around so it's easier for me to solder these wires on. Here I am taking one of the bundles with a wire from the bottom part and a wire from the top part, and I am soldering that onto one of these copper strips here and making sure that it is sitting really good and tight. As it was a bit difficult to solder the wire bundle onto the copper ribbon here, I am deciding to go ahead and place a tiny bit of this metal wire on each end on the copper ribbon, because we are going to solder wires onto all of these. Now I am going to take the next bundle with a wire from the bottom and a wire from the top part, and I am soldering that onto the other copper wire. These wires are not allowed to touch the first wires that we soldered on there. Make sure it's not touching each other. Now I am taking one of the bundles from the light bulbs that has one of each light bulbs in there, and I am soldering that onto one of these copper strips. And the next bundles again from the light bulbs, I am soldering that into the other copper strip here. And again, it's very important that the 2 copper wires do not have any connection together, because that will shortcut everything when you turn it on. Now I am gluing the top part here to the bottom part. I'm using my hot glue, making sure that the connection between the top part here and this cave thing are really nice and tight, so that it will stay in place, and I'm gluing it from both sides. And when I have done that, then I am going to try to place the wires really neat and glue them together on the bottom part here of this white layer that is on top of the caves. Just take your time and be careful not to melt the plastic around the cables or the wiring. Yeah. When the glue has all hardened, I am going to find my white Vallejo paint, and I'm going to paint this bottom layer here white, and I'm also painting the mountains here, or the caves on the outside. The black paper you can see on the outside, I'm painting that white as well, and I'm really taking my time with this. The white will turn a slight light brown here and there, caused by the laser cut circles here, but that just gives it a little more color variation in the painting, and I kind of like that with the snow on top of and there. But if you like it more white, well, then you will have to put something on there to stop the burns coming out through the white paint. I don't know what to use for that, maybe a glaze or something. Here I am using some silk clay. This is actually some paper clay that is air dried, and I am going to mold some mountains, or some mountains around this inner core of the tree, because I cut mine a tiny bit too short, so I want to make sure that you don't see that. And I'm just molding that around the stick and molding it here and there around the bottom plate here. Just make sure that the train part will still have room to work, to go around, and that there is room for the house with the two lights in there. So make sure you have room for everything. I placed a tiny bit of the clay here on the side of this cave, and made sure that it's not hitting the train track at all. This piece I had to glue in place because it really didn't want to stick in there, so I'm just using a tiny bit of tacky glue to make it stick and stay in place. But you can do this exactly like you want it to, so have fun with it and give it a go. I'm sorry that I'm a bit off camera here, but it was kind of hard to see what to do here. When you're all done, please leave it to dry for a day or two so it's all dry before you continue. I did that, and now I am going in with my Tamiya Diorama Texture Paint Powdered Snow Effect White. That's a mouthful. I did put some fine white glitter into this medium and mix that really good, because I like when my snow is kind of glittery and sparkly, so I really mixed these two things very well together. And now I am just kind of placing it, scraping it around and molding it around where I want the snow to be. I know I used the snow on the bottom part as well, but I'm not sure if I explained exactly what the snow effect is. But I really love the result of this. So I placed this on both sides of the cave, and on both caves. I gave the mountains a lot of the snow, and also down on the flat parts, even around the small light bulbs, not over the light bulbs but around the light bulbs, so that I have a nice flat area for this double house that will sit there later. I made sure to press the little house into the snow powder so that I'm sure that it is having the room it needs to have to go there. So that was all for the build today. We have connected the two parts of the tree itself, so we have soldered the last wires and stuff like that, so that's all done. And tomorrow I think we will start painting the small details and get this tree to look amazing. So that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this. I had a lot of fun with this, even though that it was quite difficult. And thank you for watching. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.